sorry. Yeah, motion by Logan, second by Freeman to approve the ad hoc ordinance committee review, special meeting minutes of June 10th. Motion is second. Can I have a roll call? Oh, Sandy, I got to turn you on. Sorry. I forgot all about microphones this morning. I don't know. There we go.
Logan,
Yes.
Butler, Freeman, Newquist,
Yes.
Trinier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. All right. And now I'm going to ask for a motion to suspend the rules so that we can go in a different order on our agenda and start with the new business.
So moved. Logan.
Motion Logan, second Newquist. Can I have a previous?
Previous Logan.
Second by Freeman. All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. All right, we're going to start with the new business discussion on assets. Karen, can you come on up to the mic and press your button? Yep, they can come up too, no problem.
One here and there's one here and there's three over there.
Yeah. Pick a spot, any spot. Yeah, and just press your microphone button and, okay. And your guest, whose name I don't.
Good morning. I have with me the Assistant Finance Director, Emily Perkins.
Emily, can you press your button too?
So
Thank you.
we're going to go through some of the rules that the Finance Department and the county follow for accounting, why we use the thresholds we use and the descriptions we use. Very high level, kind of generic. And Emily's here because the processes, if you have questions about how we, complete the transactions and stuff, that's more, she's
Her
much better
bailiwick.
at that than me.
Yeah, you're at the 20,000 foot level. She's at the 5,000.
Well, maybe 5 and she's, yeah.
Either way.
Okay, so I threw together like a little handout,
Mhm.
and this is based on our current policy. So we'll talk quickly about accounting and financial reporting standards, assets and capitalization thresholds, minor assets, depreciation and useful life, and then some record keeping. So if anybody has questions, I don't know.
I have one quick question. You said current policy. Are you looking to change the policy?
No, no,
Okay.
not.
In the ordinance.
Just the way you said that, I'm like, we changed the policy.
No.
No, I mean, we've had the same policy in place for quite some time. There's no reason to change it from my perspective.
Thank you.
And I'll explain a little bit more about why I think that as we go. So, we'll talk about accounting and financial reporting standards. So the county is required to follow and have oversight through generally accepted accounting principles, governmental accounting, auditing, and financial reporting standards, state and federal reporting requirements, the Government Accounting Standards Board, and the Government Finance Officers Association. So the Government Accounting Standards Board is the organization that actually tells us how we need to present our financial activity. They dictate how our financial statements look, how we present things. They're not our favorite organization because they tend to overcomplicate things, but that's who we follow for these asset descriptions, the useful life, and the basis for the capitalization threshold. When our auditors come to audit us, they're also looking at all of these standards and requirements as part of their review of our financial statements.
Mhm. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay.
I think so.
So the next page, we're talking about the types of assets we have. Tangible assets you can touch, feel, see, land, infrastructure, building and improvements, furnishings, machinery, equipment, vehicles, computer hardware, and anything else that meets the threshold. And then we have intangible assets, things that you cannot maybe touch or feel. So right-of-ways, computer software that we create in-house, or computer software that we purchase or is licensed to us.
Is that not new? My
The
experience with-
internally generated is newer.
Uh-huh.
And there's rules and requirements about how you determine the cost for it. You know, we would have to go back to, you know, what staff developed it, how many hours did they spend on it, what other things would be built into the cost, and then it gets depreciated like other assets.
Okay, thank you.
The threshold for capitalization for intangibles is $50,000. And for tangible assets, so the things, again, you can touch, $5,000.
And that's set by the,
It
The
was
GASB group or
recommended
the
back
government
in,
group.
I think GASB 34,
Right.
like back in 2009 or something, set that. But GFOA, who we go to when we're looking for best practice or some advice, they recommend that governments never go below 5,000. The return on, I guess it's not a return on investment, but the time spent
Time.
managing things under $5,000, there's no benefit to it.
are there different rules for different levels of government? Because the township, at least the one I worked at, they used $1,000.
That I'm not aware of.
Okay, that's fine. As
it-
long as they're recommending the 5, then we're good.
Well, and we do monitor things under 5, and I'll get to that in another, the next page.
Next page, I see.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, Member Freeman, turn on your mic.
I figure you're probably gonna address this, and if you want me to wait for questions till the end, I can.
No, that's fine.
There was a big conversation here about why we are not like chairs and desks and things like that.
The smaller
because-
items.
And so you're saying that because it's under 5,000, it takes too much time to manage it.
Right.
But when they come forward and say, we need $1 million for new furnishings, it's no longer under 5,000 anymore. So we have a hard time with that because it is something that we have to look at. And it is expensive to replace. So where is that?
So first, let me go back to the definition. 10 chairs are not lumped together as an expense. They're looked at individually. They don't have to be together to work. You know what I mean? They're separate. Separately, they're a couple $100s. They're nowhere near the $5,000 limit. Of course, when you look at a bigger group of them, it's more expensive, but that's not how capitalization works. You don't capitalize the only time we throw furnishings like that in is when we're building something new. Like the courthouse, the furnishings were probably thrown into that asset value. But to just replace a chair or a group of chairs for a department, it's individual cost per item, not the group.
That help you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And
Member-
again, we do monitor, so we'll go through this minor asset, how we monitor stuff. So it's not that we just say, if it's $4,999, we don't care about it. It just doesn't, it isn't something that we would, capital assets are depreciated. So that's another thing. We track them over their useful life. We depreciate them from whatever the cost is down to 0 over the life. It isn't worth doing that for things under 5,000, but we do monitor them in a different way.
Well, I was at the Will County Transportation Department for a tour the other day, and they have some furniture in there that probably is considered antique. And it may qualify as above 5,000 as an antique, since it's like 1950s.
Yeah, well, they'd have to get it appraised for,
All right, did that answer your question?
Okay.
Member Newquist?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to how long that $5,000 threshold has been around. And the reason I say that is when I was on the Stager Municipal Board 26 years ago, I believe the limit was $5,000
yeah,
then.
it probably could go up when you think about the cost of things.
But that's
It's
what the-
easy to hit 5, but that's what we've been doing. We're comfortable doing that. There's been no recommendation that we jump up unless the
Okay.
board would decide they want to do
I
it.
was gonna
But it
say
doesn't
that's-
seem like that's the feel here.
And that's what the GFOA is still recommending, the
That
5,000.
you don't go under 5.
Okay, got it.
And the other thing to think too is the state has different capitalization requirements. I think they're 25,000.
Mhm.
The federal government, I believe, is at 50. So we're way under. But when you're using grant dollars to purchase things, you need to be more careful.
I
So
agree.
I think we're probably more conservative than we need to be, but better that than,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'd be comfortable with the
Okay.
5,000. I mean,
Thank you, Member Newquist. Member Butler, you had a question?
Yeah, I just was curious. So if you have minor assets and it could be a chair, it could be a desk or whatever, you can't just list that department's minor assets as one lump sum. You have to, every single asset has to be listed separately?
Yeah,
I
she's
mean-
about to begin the discussion
Yeah.
on minor assets.
so there's a
Maybe we
whole,
should
there's
go
a
to-
whole page here on minor assets.
Yeah.
So we can talk about, this will kind of explain the process we use for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know
so-
you're anxious, so. but yeah, I'd
Assets
like her to
that,
get into
that
it.
are above 1,000 but under 5,000 are considered minor assets. Some of them warrant a little extra control because of their sensitive nature. And you have to think about the kind of operations we have. The sheriff has weapons, radios, personal computers, laptops, printers, small power tools, electric, for the facilities department. They probably have,
Couple dozen drills.
things that are in that more expensive range. So those are inventoried and tracked at the department level. So the department is responsible for maintaining a list. We provide them with a tag. And maybe I'll let Emily run through the actual process. We do this every year with departments. We send them a list of assets from the prior year. They add, remove, identify what's going on with them. But I'll let her.
And then they come to us sometimes to be auctioned.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, when it comes to the minor assets, that is all department, and the departments should be able at any point in time to provide a list if requested. We have some departments that are very, like, they'll ask for, okay, hey, I know I'm gonna get a whole new shipment of computers. While we might not see some of those computers as being considered a minor asset because it falls below that $1,000, they find it sensitive. So they might tag it themselves. They will, they kind of take that judgment call on themselves. But minor assets are, it's considered lower risk of losing to the county. If we were to lose one of these items, it's not going to be at great cost when you think about what our actual capital assets are valued at. So the minor assets aren't, again, tracked at a deeper level, whereas the major assets, anything over 5,000, those come through our office. We discuss with the department exactly what is the asset, what we're talking about. We make sure it has a useful life of over a year. It meets the dollar threshold. We have them actually physically tag if they can't. If not, we monitor with like what we call an E number. And then we, again, we send out a list every year. Do you still have these assets in your presence? If not, and then most of them are like when we remove an asset, it's usually mostly due to it being surplused. And then that surplus process goes through the board. So it's very easy for us to be like, okay, let's remove this, but we make sure we, dot our I's and cross our T's before we actually get rid of an asset on our records.
Sure, absolutely. Any questions about this? Yeah, Member Newquist, go ahead.
this is probably better suited to a finance meeting than, but are minor assets subject to depreciation?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, let's move on.
Okay. So the next page is our depreciation and useful life. So the first column is the useful life. So land is indefinite, infrastructure. So it depends, like roads, bridges, signals, overlays. So anything the highway department manages, we track as a capital asset. Here's the life expectancy for those. Buildings, 50 years. Roof, parking lots, 25 and 7. For equipment, And again, it depends on the value in the type of equipment. So when the huge snow plows that the highway department uses would be heavy equipment. Furniture and fixtures, cars, light equipment, vehicles, equipment and computer hardware, those are all 5 years. And then intangible assets,
Let me.
oh, I'm sorry.
How are these determined? Is this also by a federal government or is this something we determine? Because I consider a car to last a lot longer than 5 years.
Yeah, no, these are guidelines provided to us. We don't.
Okay. by GASB
We
or somebody.
do use our cars
Okay.
for longer than that, but
Yeah,
they
I know.
depreciate over this lifespan.
Thank you for clarifying and reminding me. This is just the depreciation.
Right, that's the
schedule.
whole purpose, is
Gotcha.
saying that typically a building, you put a lot of money into the construction, and typically in 50 years, it either needs to be renovated or, something drastic to it. With a car over 5 years, the value to us is
No.
nothing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we don't use
No,
it.
that's fine. I'd forgotten. This is just the depreciation schedule. Got it.
Okay. And then finally, we'll talk about record keeping. So we're responsible for maintaining the capital assets, like as Emily mentioned. We're responsible for keeping track of them in our finance system, setting up the depreciation, which the county uses straight line depreciation for everything. We're responsible for the annual financial statements. So we compile them, which is unusual. I'm bragging a little bit for county government. Almost everyone else, almost all the other counties, their auditors prepare their statements. We prepare our own and they
Right.
audit them because we can.
There was a accounting standard, more of an auditing standard that came through a while ago, probably 10 plus years ago, that was always talking about independence, and that where do the lines cross with auditors doing things for their clients? And that was one of the hot topics at the time. And so at that time is when we started to say, hey, let's take this on ourselves and let's write our own report. Plus, it gives us a deeper knowledge
And it
and
saves us
know-how
money.
of what our report is built on. And then we just have always maintained that, whereas the standard kind of started to open up and not consider that so much an issue anymore.
Okay. It saves us money.
It did save us
Yes.
money initially. I'm not quite sure if it still does.
Okay.
Because they're not putting it together. We provide a trial balance to them that they dump into their own accounting software. So at some level, they're kind of compiling it in the background, but it's not the same thing as a 400-page document that has to be spell checked and formatted. So they're not going that far, but to prove out our balances, they have to do their own work.
Okay. And we have a question from member.
Okay.
So is this like a software program that you guys have created somewhere? I'm just thinking at some point you may retire or walk away from Will County, and I want to be sure that whoever comes next has a clue what to do.
The tracking capital assets has always been part of our finance system. When we were in New World, which was our previous system, when capital assets, when we book something as a capital asset, it gets set up in the capital asset module, and that's where the depreciation happens. In D365, which is our current, we're a little bit behind in getting that up and running, but we should have everything set up in there by the end of the year. That is something every year that the auditors go through with a fine-tooth comb, like what our additions are. One of the other things that we have to consider is when the highway department, if they have intergovernmental transfers of roads, okay, we built this, we did an overlay on it, now we're giving it to you. So all of that is tracked inside the system. So it won't matter if I'm here or not.
And someone else is getting trained as.
Yes.
Yeah, typically, some of like the busier work happens at the staff level. And then kind of moves up with review process and stuff like that at our level.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And I don't want you to retire, just so.
Yes.
Where do we track the minor assets?
that is done in the department, at the department level. Now,
Right.
that can be done in many different ways. There is a listing that is provided on our intranet that somebody could pull down and just start to keep track of it on that listing if they wanted to. So like Excel or
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay,
say,
so we
yeah,
just
or
basically
whatever.
keep it in a spreadsheet?
Yeah.
We don't have software that allows us to like barcode and track the,
We don't. We've looked at that throughout my whole career here. We've had that discussion back and forth, and it's always a matter of time and money,
Mhm.
and it's not always worth the benefit.
Mhm.
And just that, how many people does it require to do that? I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about how many buildings and offices and
It's a job, I know.
and each department has different needs and different things that they consider sensitive. For us, I don't really consider a laptop sensitive. We all have them. That's how we sit all day at our computers.
Right.
And within a couple of years, they're already obsolete. And so the risk behind them isn't super great. I mean, it's more of the data, which our IT department really is the one keeping
Safeguards,
safe.
Right.
yeah.
But the actual thing itself, to a certain point in time, it's
So I get it. So the utility that we would gain by tracking some of these minor assets is effectively zero. So,
Well, and you'd have to
and
have
there's
a
a fair
couple-
amount of work.
I mean, when I think about if you wanted to use the scanner and update, you'd have to have at least one, if not two full-time people.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Managing
point.
that.
That software is not easy to maintain. I've used it in a previous life and it's, yeah,
For small uses, maybe either that or every department would have to have a scanner and
right.
and that too gets hard to manage, hard to oversee and costly.
And we're not in a production environment where it matters. So,
Oh,
okay.
right. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess I just want to finish with, the auditor's office, our internal audit office, they're also responsible for doing a physical inventory. Every few years, they actually get the list of capital assets and they go out to the offices and departments and check off what's there, what's not.
Okay. Member Butler, did you have any follow-up questions? Okay, then, thank you, ladies, for being here. Unless there's something else I'm not aware of, you're free to go. Oh, go ahead.
Do you guys have any recommendations for changes that we need to make in our ordinances? Or are you satisfied that the process that we have in place is working?
I mean, the only suggestion I can think of, and again, it would be maybe standardizing how departments are tracking the things that they consider sensitive. So if we ever needed to roll it up into a bigger document, it wouldn't be a nightmare.
Okay.
I mean, other than that, the thresholds, unless someone's telling us that we need to move up, I don't know at this point.
Yeah, it would definitely be a matter of consideration for, I mean, because GSB 34, which dictated fixed assets in the first place, that happened in like 2002, I think. And so we're already beyond 20 years on that, and we've been at that 5,000. And you think of everything, everything's been going up, cost of eggs, everything
Right.
is going up so much that maybe that 5,000 is lower. So maybe in the future, at some point, we might want to reconsider boosting that up to 10. But at this point in time, I think everybody likes to stay on the more conservative
Mhm.
level. And so I think we're doing a good job on that and we're abiding by all the rules and stuff.
So maybe just a more consistent definition of sensitive
Yeah.
would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and the other thing is, GASB's likely to revisit that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how soon, but that would force us.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think maybe clean up what we're doing a little bit,
And I don't think we provide a definition in our ordinance of what's considered sensitive.
Yeah, I
We just
don't-
have the dollar amount and
I
that's
don't
that.
think we
Right.
do either.
And
so-
I would think
Yeah.
at your level, you could create a form and ask each department to use that standardized
Sure.
form. So that way, if you did ever need to roll it up, it could all be done.
Well, and then we do provide that listing and that could be updated, no doubt, but, it would really.
That's not our ordinance, so.
Right.
Right, so we're talking guidance here, not an ordinance.
Right, right.
Correct, okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
Any other questions? Let us know.
All righty.
you.
Thank you very much. Next up, our Will County Treasurer, Tim Brophy. And did you bring Julie with you? Ah, okay. I had not met Julie before, so I didn't know.
Hi, Julie.
Awesome, awesome. So I don't think you provided any attachments. That's okay. We wanted to talk about your automatic clearinghouse, your ACH. And I know I may have been the person that kind of prompted this. I have a neighbor that owns a business property and a personal property, and he had prepared his check to pay his property taxes, left it on his desk at the office, went to China, came back. It was like the day the taxes were due. His staff had not mailed the envelope. So he thought, well, I don't want to be late and I don't want to drive to Joliet, so let me go online and see if I could pay this some other way online. The fee for paying by credit card, a $30,000 tax bill, was incredibly enormous. So he hopped in his car and drove down here. And I had made a comment at the meeting that maybe we ought to provide a way to do some sort of ACH. We have Zelle, we have all these other creative ways to share money nowadays with no fees. So that, I think, is what prompted your visit here today. Unless there's something else, Phil, that I'm forgetting. Okay. Oh, let me get you.
So yeah, there's a free way to do it online. But
There is a freeway.
Yeah. Every 50,000 people use that every payment, so.
Well,
it's-
were you not here the day I mentioned this, maybe?
Oh, no, she was here. She mentioned it. She mentioned it.
Yeah, everybody uses it. It's e-check. It just goes directly from, you put your bank routing number and your account number in and you authorize the transfer and it goes. When people try to do it at the 11th hour,
Mhm.
the due date, sometimes systems fail. But we always honor that. If they can show us like a printout or a receipt from.
An
in
email
fact, they
that
did
they-
it before midnight, we honor it, but there are some
Okay.
problems in that 11th hour. But other than that, it goes through.
Okay.
Yeah, the credit card rate we negotiate is at 2.28%. So that payment would have cost them about $700
Mhm.
in fees. And we always encourage people to avoid that.
Mhm.
And the fee is 2.28. The fee is the same for debit cards. You think, well, why would I do? Because MasterCard and Visa are getting their piece to transfer that thing.
Mhm.
That's where that's going. It's not going to me, to the county, and it's not going to the taxes, certainly. We can't reduce the taxes. They owe the 100% of the tax.
Right.
We can't pay that for them. And then on the other score, the consumer models of cash transfers are significantly insufficient in complexity to handle tax payments. First off, most of them have a limit of $2,500. I think Venmo's at 25, Zelle's at 25. I'm not sure
I
about
didn't know.
the other ones. And so most taxpayers are then out. I think most are over 2,500 a payment, sadly.
Even debit cards are
Yeah.
limited.
Oh, debits have limits
You
too,
have to
yeah.
call your bank on a debit card and
Yeah.
Hang on, hang
Hold
on.
on, we gotta.
Oh, yeah, turn your mic on, please.
on a debit
Hang on,
card.
hang on, hang on.
Hold on, for the red.
Now
Okay.
you're-
Okay,
Now you're good.
sorry, first time ever doing this. Debit is, so the banks, certain banks have your debit cards locked in at a certain amount that you can use. Unless you call them and they'll give you a 24-hour advance, whereas they will take that hold off of your debit, which means then that opens you up for 24 hours that somebody else could come in and also do it. So debits, we encourage people to, on a debit card, because they get charged 2.28% also, because they can't recognize a debit credit card difference. We encourage them to call their bank if, a lot of them don't have checks. They don't carry checks anymore.
Nope.
So we encourage them to call their bank and get their routing number and their account number and then go through it as an ACH to avoid that unlocking their account and also not paying the 2.28%.
Okay.
The other reason we lean toward significantly structured payment systems is that, 98% of taxpayers pay their bill on time without a problem. It's that 2% we spend the rest of our year on here on the levy side of my office. And it's because people make mistakes. Sometimes their bank makes the mistake, but many of the payers make mistakes. They double pay and they want to get refunded, or they think they paid it and they didn't, and a lot of complications. And it's really helpful to us for the research that's needed on those to fix those problems, that the structures being used collect name, address, email, phone number, and you have to do that when you do most of these complex transactions, so we can go back and find people. Venmo, Zelle, Apple
Yeah,
Pay.
they don't do any of that.
Their structures don't offer any of that. And so we would be,
Oh, I wasn't a proponent of Venmo. I don't know, somehow I missed what,
Mhm.
if Sherry says she
That
said
was
it,
Funny, I
instead she
don't
says it.
remember
That was like
Uh,
2 years ago. That was a long
Oh,
time
okay.
ago.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
this
no.
was very recent that I brought this up, maybe at the June or the May meeting.
No, this
Uh,
was
June.
the first year we started talking about.
Yeah.
this.
Madam
This was a while
Chair,
back.
your
Yeah.
constituents are asking your question too. Because the younger constituents are assuming we have
All
quicker
those
ways to do
things.
this.
Mhm.
And
Thank
so we have to at least study what's available and when we can go to a more convenient method or
Popular.
whatever. We'll study that, and we'll look at it,
Okay,
but
for now, you need all that information,
yeah,
the ACH
for a
makes the
payment
most
that
sense.
happens once or twice a year,
Right,
for most cases,
and it's significant.
yeah, they're not buying coffees.
Yeah, nobody's paying well, there are a few people maybe that pay a tax bill that's a smaller increment, but
Mhm.
I think I have an average size house and mine's $8,000.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that by Venmo.
Yeah.
Frankly,
Yeah,
my
that-
mortgage company does it, so,
Right, so you should know that we are
Yeah.
always entertaining the
okay,
ideas that bankers bring us, mostly coming from bankers, like, hey, this serves some of our customers over here, would this work for you?
Mhm.
And we entertain those thoughts, and we evaluate those, and
no,
we'll always bring those to you if we can.
not
do
a
so.
surprise.
Yeah.
Member Newquist,
Well, this is more of a comment than a question, but my previous job, I was VP of operations for a payment processing company.
There you go.
And Visa and MasterCard do charge fees for debit cards as well. Now I'm going back a couple of years, but it was more in the neighborhood of 1.2%. But actual Visa cards, depending on the type of Visa, like some of the high rewards cards, the fees from Visa and MasterCard can be up to 4%. Sometimes I've seen them go a little over.
Mhm.
So I'm guessing that 2.8 is probably an average, a decent average. And
2.28.
2.28 is probably a decent average. That's on the lower end of what you're going to see for fees. And they can't tell reliably when you're entering your card number and if it's a debit or a credit. So I don't know that we could ever distinguish, and charge a lower fee for debit cards versus credit cards. But I would say that 2.28 is about as good as we're going to be able to
And
do.
we get a lot of taxpayers that don't read the 3 screens they go through to accept that 2.28% and then call us up and want us to refund them right away because they don't agree with it. Even when we back out those payments, the banks don't allow us to refund the 2.28
Right.
because that's their fee. We negotiate that. When we go out there and look at a company that's going to handle our software, that's the main negotiation, is what the fee is going to be for the credit card. And we sign a contract and we are locked in, and right now we're in our 3rd year. And everything after the 3rd year is automatically renews, or we can renegotiate. I've researched other treasurers, and yes, I've seen lower, but where I've seen lower is on the debit side.
Mhm.
Whereas you can pay a set fee for a debit card versus the credit card. There are some treasurers out there that are charging 5%.
I believe.
There are also some treasurers out there, we negotiate the ACH fee. The fact that the taxpayers are getting a free fee for paying ACH and using their savings and checking was a service that they offered us for free. There was $1.50 attached to that. And they said, no, we want your business, so we'll give it to them for free. So there are some treasurers out there that are also charging for that ACH.
okay.
So we open that up, we negotiate it every few years. They compete for our business. Obviously, we're taking the best one because I want my constituents and your constituents to have
Get the best.
the
one.
lowest possible. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate
I got
you
a
being
question.
here. Oh, yeah. go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Do we deal with Plaid at all? Plaid?
They do collect all that extra information. I have
does.
used them for payments
I'm unfamiliar, but I'd
Okay,
be
I
glad to
can-
look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
check them
I
out.
know they,
You have-
yeah,
You are.
yeah, and because we use credit cards for our business and 2.28 is super low. I mean, I think we're at 2.35 plus, I think it's 15 cents per transaction. So there's not even a transaction fee then.
No, we
No.
don't do it on top. Yeah, your
Wow.
carnival rates for an ATM are like $4 or 4% plus $1 transaction. That's your high level, is like kind of a carnival ATM rate. And then we all negotiate it based on volume down, and ours is really competitive. If we can beat it, when we open up the contract, we'll go out and look again.
Yeah, I
Well, no,
forgot about
this is-
Plaid. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and this is a good, I mean, 2.28, that beats mine where we actually have someone paying. I think if I send them a link, it's like 2.8. So I mean, these are really good prices. I mean, at least on my part, on business part of it. So thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
good job. Thank you both very much for coming
Thanks.
today. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to get started with our old business review of chapter 35. And I do want to apologize in advance. I really would like to end at 11:45 today. I know. I know. I should have, when we rescheduled the date, we should have started this at 9. I didn't
No,
even.
we
think
had,
about
we
it.
had a 9 o'clock meeting, so we couldn't.
Oh, we
had
did?
Phil.
Oh, okay. All right, Phil, I'm gonna turn.
No, it's been canceled. Landfill was 9.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that.
landfill was 9 at the time.
Well, we could have started immediately after after landfill and no earlier than some number, but anyway, we're okay. We're good. We can get through these. I've reviewed them all. I know all of you have reviewed your packets for this meeting. Vince personally told me how he printed his out and reviewed it all yesterday, so we should be able to move through this fairly quickly. Take it away, Phil, chapter 35.
Yeah, I have to apologize on this one. You guys, just as the county board passed this, I think 2 meetings ago,
Mhm.
but Maggie McDowell, the director, called me up and I had an error on it. And then I found out, Jackie pointed out I had a second error on it.
Sorry.
No, I'm glad you pointed it out. The only major change is under 3507, medical director. We had it used to say part-time basis. Well, I talked to somebody at Sunny Hill and they thought the medical director was full-time. It turned out they weren't. And so I want you to have language that says that the medical director will serve Sunny Hill Nursing Home on a full-time or part-time basis to give flexibility.
Mhm.
The medical director, though, doesn't provide medical services. The medical director makes sure that the buildings like sanitary, that the patient care is up to standard, but they're not like really a doctor for anybody. They're the director for the building. And that's why on paragraph D, I struck out the words employees, and that's the one I should have had eliminated from this, what I thought was the clean version, and I missed it when I typed it up.
Yep.
But I will have that gone when we type it up to go forward again. And the reason the employees are out of there, they explained to me that the employees' medical concerns are handled by HR, county insurance, those type of things. The only impact the medical director has on an employee is like the same disease controls they use for the clients, or the same, make sure that there's handrails where you need to be so you don't fall, safety type concerns. They don't have any specific duty towards employees, just towards the facility and just towards the staff, because you have to have that medical director in order to get certain grants and funds.
So
So-
can we have a motion to approve those changes? Oh, you found another one?
I saw one on when I was comparing computer to my hard copies.
Okay.
It was 35.05,
Okay,
where county home is listed, physical alterations of county home. It should say Sunny Hill Nursing Home.
Why is it Sunny Hill?
In the title,
In the title.
it doesn't say that. And I don't think we brought that up in
and
committee.
you could,
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yep.
Okay, because I thought about it too, but then it didn't
Yeah,
show.
I had it in my prior notes and, I'm sorry, I missed that one too.
all right, then under, both in the title, under the beginning
Mhm.
and under 3505, do you,
In
We
the
wanted to say Sunny Hill Nursing
Yeah,
Home.
Do
it
do
was
you-
changed in the verbiage in the paragraph, just
Well-
not in the title.
do you want to say that, or do you just want to say county nursing home? Because Sunny Hill's changed its name over the years before, and do you want them to have to come back to the,
No, let's just put in county
County
nursing home.
nursing home.
in both those places? Because one time they were like long care something, We did it at the very top, but I didn't do it under the, where it says sections.
So we'll change both of the Sunny Hills, both in the paragraph and in the title to county.
It'll say
Yeah.
county nursing home.
County nursing home, also on page 1 in the,
I was gonna say, is it listed somewhere else? Cause I
Yeah,
think it's in
page one.
3501.
Yeah, I think that was the only two ones.
So we'll change 35.01A as well. It's actually in A and B. I mean, if we're gonna go make all the changes from Sunny Hill back to county, we need to be consistent.
I would,
Yeah, I
Think
think we
so.
should, I think we should say county nursing home in those, because they may want to change the name again, and that's something the staff should be able to do, or the director.
Been that name.
50 years. It started out with that name, but they did change it like 3 years ago and change it back.
And I'm okay with Sunny Home Nursing Home.
well, sending it.
So maybe if you just do a.
And I do have
search for
Sunny Hill in
Sunny.
parentheses at the top. So it's cross-referenced.
Yeah, but the word county home is still there, and it should probably say county nursing home.
It is also in 35.07 medical director A.
All right, can you do a search on that?
Yeah, you want all of them to say county nursing home.
We're getting rid of Sunny Hill.
All right.
Okay, so here's
Just the
the,
verbiage.
so here's the question, should it be county or counties?
Oh, that county's nursing home.
Counties nursing home?
No, just county.
Okay, good.
The county nursing home.
Yeah, can you
What does it
just,
say?
All Sunny Hills will be changed to county except for the very top.
right, where you're gonna.
Or
leave
it's
it
in parentheses.
Okay. All right, is everybody good with that? And can I get a motion to approve
Motion
35
to
as
approve.
amended?
Oh, as amended?
Well, we've asked him to amend it.
Yeah, amend first, then move to approve as amended.
I'll second Sherry's.
Previous one.
All in favor?
I'll second previous roll.
Motion passes. Okay, and then, do we really need it as amended too?
Yeah, I would do that just to forward it.
Second, Logan.
Previous one, Freeman.
Second.
Wait, you're on the committee. Yeah. He's just been so quiet.
Yeah, show up every.
I know. I didn't hear her call your name in the roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Stepped out.
So this was actually.
Those opposed, same side. Motion carries.
Help me out. When did we pass this October?
I think 2
Um,
months ago.
June.
Yeah. Oh,
No, it
last
was
month.
passed in June, last month, and we're just gonna make some grammatical changes basically and add the part-time and make sure the strikeout for the employees is gone. So those are the changes. That was it. They're all fairly, almost ministerial. So, okay, so now we're gonna go to chapter 39. There's 38 passed in the full board and we are on 39, county policies. And it's a short chapter. I looked at it and I don't know, Vince, did you have any changes?
Anything?
I don't think I did.
I do.
Oh, I had the question about EEOC on that one.
Oh, I saw
And,
that.
and I have a,
Okay, go ahead.
I have a proposed change too. I want you to amend it.
Mhm.
There was a question about EEOC, why we're not informing the employees they could go to EEOC.
Mhm.
But when I looked at the statute that this is based under, when you make a report or a complaint to the Illinois Department of Human Relations, they automatically cross-file an EEOC complaint for you.
Right. that's
And
what you-
we're an Illinois body, so I was referring to Illinois. But the change that I am asking, I created the new 3907 anti-harassment policy.
Mhm.
I was able to do more research. The reason that we had the anti-sexual harassment policy is literally there's a state statute that requires
Right.
us to have that. The state has the Human Rights Act. And in the Human Rights Act, which is different than the sexual harassment policy, is basically where they deal with generalized bullying and generalized treating people, harassment that's not sexual in nature.
Mhm.
That's where I got all the definitions. That's where I got all the language for to put in our own anti-harassment policy. What I failed to do, because I created that myself and I didn't steal it from anything. The paragraph H, which was in the sexual harassment right above it in 3906,
Mm-hmm.
that says the county anticipates any incidents of sexual harassment can be resolved through the internal process. And then it tells you how to file all these complaints.
Right.
All these complaints also work with the general harassment under state law.
So
I'd
we
like-
need to duplicate.
I'd
H.
like you to add H on the bottom of 3907, and I will take the word sexual out on that one and just say any incident of harassment. And so people know what their remedies are for both of them. I left it out when I created it. When Jackie had me look at it again, I noticed that was missing.
Okay.
Where's it coming from?
Right.
Right above it, 3907,
Page 3.
06.
Top of page 3, letter H. It tells you the phone numbers and who to contact and all that to file your complaint. He wants to copy that H and put it onto the H for 3907.
And take out the word sexual, so it's general harassment.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't just roll it into one because state statute still requires you to have a separate
Separate.
sexual harassment policy.
Any other changes anybody wants to make? Member Butler.
Well, I was gonna follow through on that and make the motion to add that
Thank you.
paragraph to the end here. And thanks for addressing this.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
really nice.
That was smart. We should have done it before.
Yeah.
Can I get a
appreciate that.
second?
Second, Freeman.
Previous role was.
Second previous logo.
And member Newquist, did you have something?
I have a question about something different.
Okay.
And just for
I'll-
the record,
mhm.
I will always comment on policies. I will
Mhm.
never offer a scrivener's error, correction.
Okay, thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, and member Newquist, I think I turned
Yeah,
on.
so I know we talked about this briefly, but tell me again about 3901. Did the board repeal that? Or is that
No,
elsewhere?
the
Is
state-
that
the
just?
state statutes don't have that any longer. And I
Got
talked to
it.
the highway department and they said, we haven't done that for years.
Okay, and then about why did we take out the no smoking policy?
Because it's all
Because
governmental
it's all
buildings.
governmental buildings,
We
okay.
passed that when you could still smoke everywhere else.
And I know we talked about that briefly, but I just couldn't remember. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, look at there, whole chapter complete. Very nice. Chapter 40, passed the full board last week. So I thought,
It was in the minutes that we did.
Yeah, passed, 40 passed.
At 40 passed. So now we're on to 41, the purchasing code. And I'm sure there's going to be questions because boy, I certainly, but see if I circled anything. The only question I really had, 41.032 says competitive bid and request for procedures, which I've never heard of an RFP being procedure. I always thought it was proposals. What's the difference between that and 41.031 bid procedures? Or even competitive sealed bidding 41.030? I don't understand why we have, it almost seems like the same thing.
I don't, that's one where I didn't really change anything, but I think I know your answer.
Okay.
If you look at the 41.032, competitive bid and request for procedures,
Mm-hmm.
that literally talks about, we know we want to obtain something, but we don't know what procedures to use to get it because it's new.
Okay.
So it's not a request for proposals because they don't know what they're going to ask for.
Gotcha.
An example would be when we first did the landfill all those years ago, we never dealt with landfills. We didn't know what to do. We called outside counsel or hired outside counsel. And he said, these are your steps. These are your procedures. But before we did that, we requested informally, I don't think this was in effect. It might have been because it was passed in 08. But we had to get procedures on how we were going to do the proposals in the bidding.
Okay, I looked at it differently and now I understand what you're saying. Okay. Did anybody have anything else? Oh, Member Newquist.
Yep, I have a couple of things, but since we're at 41.032, I'll start there and go backwards.
Okay.
One of the things I was a little confused about on this was, it says with the concurrence of the assigned county board committee. What, on 41.032, competitive seal proposals, where the procedure or method to accomplish a goal or result is unknown, is determined by the director of purchasing with the concurrence of the assigned county board committee. I don't know that that I recall seeing anything about the committee concurrence. Like, what exactly does that mean?
Well, that meant for this one, they had an ad hoc committee created for the landfill. And they wanted the committee to be on board with what finance was doing, because it would do no good if finance created their own thing and the committee said, well, screw this, we don't like it at all, we're denying everything. So they wanted input from the actual committee that would be involved in that process when they did this. Or if it was a finance thing, they would want the finance committee to be involved, or if it was an insurance related issue, they would want, it was just for the committee to give input to the executive branch to tell them, yeah, we sort of think this is a good idea, or we think this is not a good idea.
You know,
See,
I
here-
might be able to answer, maybe. Remember when there was a special committee created to hire a DEI contractor?
Yeah,
And the committee said, yeah, we want you to put out a request for proposal. Well, I'm sure if the purchasing department didn't know how to write that proposal, they would have come back, or they weren't sure what we were looking for in that committee, they would have come back to the committee. But since I think the committee, the assigned committee, came up with what the guy was supposed to be looking for, they never had to come back.
okay, I get a little bit where you're going, more of what I was thinking, and this is a conversation for a different committee and a different day, is that basically if a committee votes something down, it still goes to the full board anyway. So I wasn't sure what
Ah.
concurrence,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
not at this level.
No, it
mattered.
was just to assist director of purchasing. Otherwise, director of
Okay.
purchasing could do whatever they wanted to do.
Okay,
Right.
And
so,
the buy-in was, the committee's gonna say, yeah, we think that's a good process. And you're right, they could still do it, and the county board could still vote it down.
But you gotta get
But you
it
got
first.
earlier input
Mhm.
from at least a group of the county board that's looking at the problem, giving input. And you could take that off and just let the director of purchasing
no,
start the process alone.
I'm
Yeah,
fine
no.
with that. I was just really
But that's-
confused about what exactly that meant.
And they didn't think it was important enough to take the whole process through the board, because usually when you're trying to buy something, you're in a hurry.
Yep,
And if I'm not mistaken, a committee could ask for an RFP or an RFQ for anything and have the board have the department do it, but the full board has to approve it.
right.
So they, you could.
Okay, yep, I
it's
get
that-
where that's
That gives the
going.
committee power to
Right,
utilize
so
the
concurrence
resources.
is essentially, yeah,
We agree with your initial process, not the
Got it.
outcome, but the initial
with the
process.
process. Okay,
Does that help?
yes, it does. Thank
More
you.
questions?
Yes, so going back to 41.004. 41.004,
At the beginning.
why is that reserved, or is that just,
Because I think it disappeared.
Oh,
Oh, I reserved that because,
the new purchasing.
no. This is just all me. Almost all our definitions are 005. So I took out 004 as a definition and made it 005 and just left 004 an empty
oh,
space.
got it,
I
okay.
didn't even notice.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
And then in that, in going, this is my last question, 41.005, definitions all the way down at the bottom. I see that, well, not all the way down, about on page 5, the bottom of page 5.
Okay.
I see that the definition of immediate family has been greatly expanded.
We took
Is
it out of the state
that
statute.
At the state, okay, that was my question.
Yeah,
on that.
when we talked about it last time, somebody said, well, what about this? Add that.
Yeah,
And I said, I'll go to the state statute and copy whatever they use under the conflict of interest statute, and that's what we used.
Okay,
That's what I used, I mean, to put in there.
got it. Okay, thank you. That was it.
I just have a question for the chief of staff, I think. Duties of the county executive, which is on page 8, letter number 19, it says periodically review systems and procedures to determine improved methods which will result in efficiencies and performance. And then in red, it says, and provide review and procedures in written form to the executive committee on or before its first meeting in June.
Where are we? Oh,
Page 9, halfway down.
19.
Number 19. And I'm on the e-board. I don't know that our committee got any of this in June.
This was just added.
That's okay. So I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page. So next June, we will receive that.
Right, when we talked about it, I
Mm-hmm.
pointed out that anything you need to help you with your budget, you have the ability to order the executive staff to give you. And I thought that's what you guys wanted, so I added that
Yep.
to it, red line.
That was discussed.
Yes.
I think last time we went through this.
Right, but it didn't get passed yet.
Right. Okay. Just want to make sure everybody's still on board. No questions. And same thing with the contracts. They're only supposed to be 3 years, which I find kind of interesting. And I don't think I could say this in committee, so I won't say it. But you can only do a 1-year extension.
The-
I want to know now.
Yeah.
I want to know what she can't say.
I don't want to violate the open meetings act.
We're in.
That was all I.
Yeah, but this goes to strategy of our contract negotiations.
Oh.
Does that help you?
Oh, yeah, now I got it.
Okay.
That's
All
where I
right.
thought you were going.
And then on page 24,
Oh.
41.151, sale, acquisition, or use of supplies. The county may sell, acquire from, or use any supplies belonging to another public procurement unit. What's a public procurement unit?
It's any unit of government that bids,
Is it like a purchasing cooperative or?
right?
Oh.
The state of Illinois bid, or if the city of Joliet had a bid out for something.
You know,
Say Joliet had a bid for squad cars, and it was a good one, and the dealer would honor it to you.
yeah.
Somebody already
it was
bid it,
in
you
here.
could just buy their cars at the cheap price.
All I needed to do was go back and read the definition. It's in there on page 6. Sorry about that, guys. All right, anybody got anything else, any other concerns with that chapter?
You're really quick and just skim it.
I did that. I'm wondering if anybody else did that and they have any changes. I did wonder though, Phil, we just did some sort of, we just did adopt a new bidding process for projects at the June or the May board meeting. And I didn't know if that was considered an ordinance or should it be put into our ordinance?
I don't know. I know you talked about it, and I
It
thought we
has.
put the language in here.
It is in here?
I thought it was.
I don't think it is.
Well, if it isn't, then we should hold this one off for another month, and I'll put the two together.
I think we need to do that, and we've got the county executive's attorney here, who I apologize in advance because I'm terrible with names. Please come up to the mic and remind me of your name.
Good morning. My name's Allie. I'm Jennifer's attorney. We did propose some changes. If you recall, there was a local preference change as well. We added some definitions in. Although I'm not sure what the status was, I would have to go back and check the minutes.
It passed the full
Okay,
board.
I
There might
wanted-
have been modifications, but it passed.
Yeah, I believe there were modifications that I don't have with me right now. I would need to look those up just to make sure, but I can send them to Mr. Mock or.
Please
I'll get
do.
them from Sandy.
We passed it as is.
I can't remember.
So, yeah, there were two sections of that, of the changes that were proposed. One was a local preference ordinance and one was a responsible bidder ordinance. The local preference ordinance was withdrawn and has not been reintroduced. The responsible bidder ordinance was approved back in May, and that is what probably needs to be added
In here.
forgive me, into this section of the ordinance, and I can certainly get Phil a copy of that. for you.
And I
Then-
thought of that the other night,
Yeah.
but it would have been too late for us to do anything. I was looking at this on Sunday, so,
If
Move
I'm-
the table then.
yeah.
Sorry, if I'm remembering correctly, I think what I did is I either added an additional number 044. So I started a whole new chapter. So if you look at this section right here, you'll see it ends at 35 and then it starts again at 50.
Mhm.
So I added a whole new chapter 41.040, but I can give you guys the copies
Okay.
of that. And then there were some discussion with the state's attorney and myself about that local preference issue that we have not worked out yet. So
Maybe
that's-
we should just postpone this entire section until we get that local preference thing worked out. Just because that would be another change yet to the ordinance.
We,
Can I suggest,
Yeah.
the state's attorney's office has indicated to us that they don't believe that the county, not being home rule, has the authority to pass a local preference ordinance. And so the state's attorney's office's position is that, the local preference ordinance probably is not going to be able to come back in any kind of form that we would be able to, pass legal muster with. So and the question that I'm wondering about is, clearly the responsible bidder ordinance has passed.
Mhm.
And you have everything here but but that section of the ordinance, but you have a placeholder, place for it. Do they have to, Phil, or
Can make a
Ally, with
motion
it?
to amend this.
you can move to amend it, incorporating the previous language and move it forward.
So the language that would have been approved
Yeah.
back in
May.
May.
And
correct.
again, I will get that, send Ally a copy. I will send every one of you a copy too, but we'll move it forward.
Okay, hold on. We got to have a motion to amend.
I-
Do you have a question though? Go ahead,
I
Member
do.
Butler.
My opinion is that we should hold off on approving this chapter because, like the first time this happened, this will never come around again. So I would like to just hold off on this, move to the next one, and revisit this chapter next month after we get a clearer definition or explanation. I heard what you said, and I would say that 80%, you're sure of that wasn't gonna happen, in your language. That's what it sounded like.
80%. Oh.
That's my evaluation.
yeah.
That's my evaluation. That is not 100%. And, like this thing, when it came out the first time, and all I argued to do was to take Chicago and, Cook County out of it, and then it became a problem. It was ripped out. So I need stronger language to let me know that that is something that we cannot do for local contractors.
Chair, if
So
I'm
that's why I'm
maybe
asking.
heard on
Yeah,
this.
go ahead.
Mr. Butler, with all due respect, I did just want to let you know that that section, the local preference section, as Mr. Pelkey just discussed, that was taken out of the ordinance that was passed.
That's correct, but
Yeah.
it is, I don't want to move anything forward that has anything tied with this until we address that. And it's obvious that it's still going to be explained, that
But
it's
the
not
other
finished.
section has already been passed by the full county board is what I was trying to let you know.
I get it.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that that shouldn't be in there, even though I don't agree with that either. What I'm saying is this chapter, I would like to get that aspect taken care of. So at least we can get back to it.
Okay.
Because
I-
once you pass this down the road, once you close it, it never comes back. It just, one more thing swept under the carpet.
Well, it will come back, but, go ahead.
I mean, I will say this, after my conversations with the state's attorney's office, I realize, Member Butler, that you've made an evaluation of 80%. I'll say that based upon my conversations with the state's attorney's office, it is not coming back. There's no way that we could find, without having home rule authority,
And we
based
can't
upon
do
my
that.
understanding, it's just not going to be able to pass that kind of muster. So,
Yeah.
it's not bad, but that doesn't, but if something were to change, if some new legal theory were arrived at, or someone thought of something where they might be able to sandwich in, some kind of ability to create a local preference ordinance, that doesn't prevent a committee or the county board from considering that ordinance independently and then bringing it back into
And
this
that's,
section,
okay. No, that was the decision of this committee and was speaking with Mr. Mock, that anytime going forward, if there's a change made that affects an ordinance, we will correct the ordinance at the same time. Go ahead, Mr. Mock.
And one thing, besides the home rule, obviously, if we got Springfield to give legislation to allow us to have a local preference, you could do it that way. You wouldn't have to submit it to the voters for home rule approval. You could put it on your legislative agenda to have
Correct.
your lobbyists try to convince the
Springfield that we need
Springfield
this,
to
and
have that.
just like we did the gas tax. Member Newquist.
Oh, no, mine was just done from before, sorry.
Okay. Member Freeman. Oh, yeah, sorry.
So, I have seen over the few years I've been on the board that ordinances are often amended,
Mhm.
sometimes more than once. We did pass that section in May. It is not in this section. It needs to be here. Is it possible to get a final decision by a full board or even executive committee on the part that Mr. Butler is concerned about, the local preference? You're saying that the state's attorney is saying
No.
no?
Yeah.
Didn't pass.
If I may be heard on this as well, sorry. Mr. Pilkey, I did just want a point of clarification. So there was discussions between myself and the state's attorney's office, and even during the full county board meeting, where I don't believe Ms. Tatro, and obviously she's not here to speak for herself, so I don't want to speak for her. She said she wanted to do additional research to confirm that was the case. So I don't believe that that was her formal opinion, that it was a no. I think she wanted to do additional research. I could be wrong. That's my recollection. However, you know, like I said, I could be wrong. I just wanted to
Yeah.
make that point of clarification as
She
well.
did, yeah, I've had subsequent conversations with
Gotcha,
her,
okay.
after which she did speak, and she said, we've looked at it. We can't get there without
Got it,
home rule
okay.
authority on that, so.
So would it be possible to get a more, I'm hearing back and forth that maybe it is, maybe it's not. And is it possible that by the executive committee of next month, we get a more,
And we can move this on to the
Final
executive
answer.
committee.
if we have to pull it, we pull it?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that's absolutely fine. Member Butler, go ahead.
So I would be 100% comfortable with a written statement from the state's attorney saying they can't do it.
Right.
'Cause
And
I,
you
you know,
can
you
provide
hear-
that to us by the time of the
you hear a lot
executive
of talk.
committee.
I'm not hearing definite language yet, so I would like it written.
Yeah, no, we can get that by next month.
I will talk to the state's attorney's office and see if they'll put a formal or even just a short statement together that talks about the status of the local preference ordinance on that. And again, one way or the other, the responsible bidder ordinance was passed. You've put a lot of work into this section of the ordinance as well. Nothing prevents you from going forward at any point and taking a look once again, for whatever reason, at any time, looking at a local preference ordinance
Right.
also, so.
Member Newquist.
I was just gonna say, do we need to make a motion
Yes.
to, okay, so I will make a motion to incorporate the responsible bidder ordinance language into this chapter, and then we move that to the executive board.
Correct. And it's chapter 41.
Yes,
40.
chapter
dot zero
41.
44.
Well, it's
40,
basically chapter.
040.
Yeah.
Motion and a second. Can I get a previous roll?
So
If this makes Member Butler more comfortable.
I'll tell you what makes me more comfortable, not having a debate with you on the floor. There's a committee here. I don't need to debate with you. I'm talking to committee members. And I don't like when I have to debate back and forth with you when I say things, okay?
Okay, thank you for your comments. Sandy, can we have a roll call?
Yes. Logan,
no. This-
Butler,
No.
Freeman, Newquist,
Yes.
Travis, oh, sorry, Trinier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. So that we're adding that ordinance to this, I'm sorry, we're adding that chapter to this ordinance, and it'll go to the full executive committee meeting next month. And by then, we will have a written statement from the state's attorney as to the viability of having a local preference section added. And if in fact she says yes, I'm going to assume that our chief of staff will have that document at the executive committee,
Statement.
the statement,
Yeah.
but also if she somehow flips and said, yes, you can have that you'll have that language at that committee? Or would it be the preference of this committee for them just to send it back to us?
I think send it back at that
Well,
point.
I
Okay.
mean, we've already passed this along, so it's gonna be at the executive
We can
committee.
send it back. We just added 41.
But
Yeah.
are we passing this on to the executive committee? to look
Yes.
at?
Yes.
So shouldn't it go to the executive committee?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty confident the answer is no. I mean,
After listening, I have no idea.
yeah, no, I'm pretty
Always good
confident.
customer.
No.
I know what you meant.
And there's a lot of things
It
we
started
can't
there.
do because we're not home rule and nobody's ever had the gumption to put that on the ballot, at least not in the last 18 years. Now, maybe it went on the ballot long before then, but I don't have a historian here today to tell me about that. Mr. Moose just moved on.
I can tell you the
You
story.
can tell me. Oh, okay.
Basically, when the Illinois Constitution was done in
1970.
1970, it was written so that the only county that qualified for home rule was Cook County.
But
So-
I feel like at
I
some
don't
point,
believe there are any other counties that are home rule other than Cook County at this point.
I don't
You
know,
have to
but it-
meet population requirements.
No,
no.
no, the.
Member Williams and then.
As far as home rule goes, when we came up with the county executive, when that was on the ballot, that home rule was also on the ballot and it was not voted, it was
I
voted
think
not to do
it
it.
was voted down. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think it's been on the ballot. Mr. Mock.
Yes, the state statutes, just as they say a population of, I think, 25,000 makes you home rule as a municipality. State statutes, by statute, says every county with an elected county executive is home rule. However, just as all municipalities that are over 25,000 can elect to not be home rule by vote, a county with an elected executive can elect to be
Not home rule.
not home rule.
And that's what happened.
When it was placed on the ballot, it was placed on the ballot.
Both
as it-
items.
Both items, to have an elected county executive, but to not be home rule. And the reason that was done is the people pushing it wanted an elected county executive. They thought it would fail if they had home rule with it because people don't want an unlimited tax rate. And that was everybody's fear on home rule. Well, the state, you could tax anything you want to tax then. So when it passed, that's why it passed as a county executive, but non-home rule.
Yeah.
It was on the ballot one time.
I knew it was. I just didn't know the backstory. Thank
Yeah.
you, Member
So,
Williams.
but
And
on the other side of that is that there are two counties in Illinois that could become home rule.
They
That
all could
Champaign,
be,
well, no, two of them are actually have executive.
Yeah.
but they're like
government.
us. They did it, but
So,
the non-home
so
rule.
we could actually become home rules
We
with
could.
Champaign.
But so could every other
Well,
county.
yeah,
If
if
they had
we-
a referendum to
Right.
become an elected executive, they'd automatically be home rule.
yeah, but anybody can put it on the ballot to let the voters decide if they can be home rule. Even DuPage County that doesn't have an executive, they could put it on the ballot, giving the voters the options to choose home rule. I'm pretty sure.
If they have an executive.
No, they don't have to have it. The executive gives them an automatic home rule.
No, but you gotta have an executive to
gotta-
be home rule.
Right. Oh,
That's
you
why-
have to be?
That's why.
Yeah,
we
there's no
put it
ability
on.
for a county
Oh,
with a
okay, I
non-executive
misunderstood
to
what
be
you
home
said.
rule,
Thank you.
except that
Yes, you can. All right. No, that's okay. We'll get back on track. Chapter 42, County Lobbyist Registration. Yeah, we voted. No, she put it all in one motion to move this to executive, which was very nice. Thank you, Sherry. All right, County Lobbyist Registration, another really short one, 4 pages. Did anybody have anything they thought needed correcting or
and
typos anywhere?
Just a quick question.
Sure, Member Newquist, go ahead.
Does all of this just follow state statute?
yeah, and it was
basically?
required by us, the state statute, to have us pass this, sort of like the Ethics
Yeah.
Act.
Okay.
Everybody has to do this if you're a lobbyist. What I found interesting, Mr. Mock, and maybe you can explain it, are we exempt because we're elected officials? Because none of us that have ever been on the legislative committee, I don't believe we ever had to register with the clerk's office.
No, because you're not, what you do isn't lobbying, what you do is legislating.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
And that's why they've
No.
exempted like attorneys and other things. They're advocating for their clients. It's not the same as lobbying.
Yeah, in a prior life, they made us register as employees, even though we weren't lobbyists.
Yeah.
Because we did go to talk to members of Congress. All right, so can I have a motion to move chapter 42?
So move Logan.
Previous, oh no, we can't do previous.
Yeah, new roll call, Sandy. Thank you. Take your time. It's all right.
Logan,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Freeman, Newquist,
Yes.
Trinier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now we're on to chapter 43. Look at us moving, ladies and gentlemen. We are really flying. I think I looked through this one and I don't think I had anything on this one. How about you, Vince?
I just got 2 spelling errors, but that's not a big.
Oh,
Oh.
good.
Yeah, go
What
ahead.
are they? Let me know.
Oh, this was the hearing one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
43.05. As much as we want to preside over administrative healings, it should be hearings, I'm thinking.
Oh, where's that at?
Middle of page 2.
Okay.
That was 43.
43.05. Under the definition of hearing officer. Yeah, that should be, yeah. you
Oh,
just-
God, yeah, hearings.
I mean, we want.
We're not faith healers.
We'd hope.
We could use it, I'm sure.
We can
sometime.
definitely use it.
And I think the last one I saw was on the bottom of page 8. County. I think it should be the county.
I don't have a page 8.
Oh, sorry, page 6, page 6.
Oh.
Right at the very bottom in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
we-
and some owing the county. Okay.
That's all I saw.
Very last sentence on page
Yep.
6. Okay.
What? I'm not finding that one.
Letter C,
Okay,
very last sentence. Shall be a debt due and owing the county.
owing to the county, all right.
Owing to the county. Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
43.05 definitions, code enforcement officer. It says like right at the, close to the end, public or private real property. What is real property?
Real estate.
Real estate.
Okay,
Common term they use.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's your property lot, your property.
I was just thinking, is there an unreal property? So.
No, that's just what.
No, it's, a car is property, but not real property.
Yeah.
So it's unreal property.
It's
Just property.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else find another typo? Yes, member Newquist.
This is not a typo. This is, this might be beyond the scope of this committee. But one of the things that I get the most beat up about from constituents is the ungodly length of time it takes for this whole process to happen. I mean, many times we don't actually issue citations, from what I understand. Our goal is compliance,
Yes.
you know, versus punishment, which I am not against, I'm not opposed to, but I don't know if we can even write into our ordinances, or if we want to, some sort of consistent application of the citation and fine process. Because it seems like people complain, and I'll talk to code enforcement and they're like, well, okay, I'll send somebody out there again. And I don't see any actual movement happening. I don't see people going to adjudication. I don't see people getting fined. And maybe I'm just not seeing that.
No, I think that's incumbent upon the land use department
You-
to write those
you-
citations and to send them forward.
They
And
are
if they're not doing that,
They are
then,
They're saying the people aren't paying, they're not showing up.
no,
they're
that's not what
paying-
she's saying.
No, it is what she's saying.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
not
seeing
paying
an
the fines.
inconsistent application
The-
of fines. and-
Land use will tell you they have no
citations.
bite. They have no bite to enforce or to get people to do anything. And that's a problem.
Well, that is a problem
Yeah.
too.
Well, the
'Cause-
reason this, and I was around when this was created, was to unclog our courts. Because before that, they got like a real
Right.
ticket and had to go to an actual
Right,
court.
I'm all for a separate adjudication process. I mean, most municipalities have that, you know, I mean, that's a good thing. But I'm just saying, how do we put some teeth into this and how do we ensure a more consistent application? I mean, I don't want to be hardline and say, okay, you got garbage, you need a ticket, you know, if they're gonna remove the
But
garbage.
that kind of
But-
sounds what you're saying. So, but I will say this. The land use department is directed by the county executive. If we want to direct something different, I think we could either write something into the ordinance or the board could propose a policy. Is
Yeah,
that what you're
I
thinking?
don't even know what we would write in. What I'm kind of just raising the subject. I don't know if it's appropriate for us to write an ordinance or if it's more appropriate to, you know, as a land use discussion. But it just seems like we don't, I don't even know why we have this in here sometimes, to tell you the truth.
Well, this just
the-
outlines our process.
I mean, I'm
for
being
administrative-
facetious when I say that,
So,
but
so the one thing that is happening is because we have no bite, land use, it's hard for them to actually keep doing it because nothing gets
Right.
resolved. You know, you tell them, well, the dog got out 4 times, it's attacked somebody. Well, you know, we've already given them 3 citations, nothing happens. And they don't pay them. And, you know, all these stuff. So they just like, well, you know, like how many times we can go out there and nothing gets done?
Mr. Mack.
The issues you're dealing with and talking about do not involve our ordinance.
Correct.
okay,
What it involves is there's 2 factors you're dealing with. One factor is it's no different than saying, boy, I wish the state police would write tickets for that idiot that just passed me on the interstate,
mhm,
but they have discretion. Part of the problem you're dealing with is the actual inspectors have discretion. No matter what you write, you can't take their discretion away.
got it.
They can choose to charge something or not. Your second issue is, just as a judge in court has discretion, your administrative law judge has discretion. And in years past, we've had administrative law judges that were like, wanted to close files, and they closed files by saying, give me your $500 fine, get the heck out of here, don't do it again. And then you get other administrative law judges that say, we want compliance. I'm going to continue it till next month, and if you don't get it done, I'm going to fine you 500. Then the next month come and they do the same thing.
Mhm.
You have the same problem in court. This body doesn't have control over those 2 entities.
And that was really my question. Is this even anything that we could write an ordinance about? And
I
you're
don't know
saying
a way
no.
you could write it
Okay.
away, because if you wrote mandatory duties to do stuff, they can still exercise their discretion to just avoid
Got it,
doing the trigger that gets them to the mandatory duty.
got it.
Perfect example, we used to have judges, when they passed a law that said residential burglary is mandatory 4 years in prison. We'd have a trial go on. It'd be perfect evidence that the guy broke in Tom Smith's house and robbed his TV. And the judge would find him guilty only of burglary instead of residential, even though all the facts are there, because he didn't want to send a person to prison.
Mhm.
And that's what you're dealing with.
So that does help, I think. So
Okay.
believe it or not, if we get a motion to bring this one forward, we have completed our agenda in an hour and a half. And I do have one thing to bring up. Motion Newquist,
Second, Logan.
second Logan. Can I get a previous?
Second.
All those in favor? Motion, all those against? Motion carries. Look at there, we made it through the agenda. Really amazed and proud of our little group. We are going to bring up now other old business. Do you have something, Mr. Member Freeman?
Before we move on, yes, before we move on, I think we're done with this first bit of everything, and I did talk to Phil prior to the meeting. I have, this big binder, believe it or not, has been read numerous times now. I need a new one, not the binder, but the papers to go inside.
Yeah, I asked for
So,
that too.
and I prefer them to be the red lined if possible.
Yes.
Ready to move on to the next section.
Oh.
I just have to have it so I can read it.
I didn't want them redlined. I wanted all the ones that we totally finished, like normal. Oh,
Well, so those of us who do.
all right. Well, then, no, I can live with the red
Going
line.
forward.
I mean, they passed the board, then, yeah.
Well, no, I
Sam-
mean, the ones that are coming up to us
Oh,
to an
the
ordinance
new
committee.
ones.
Yeah, I don't need the ordinances that we just approved. I need the ones that we're going to be
Oh,
approving.
the next section. Okay.
In color, because I don't.
Right.
Miss-
Isn't my.
Nope,
my
got you.
Yeah, because I don't have a color. printer.
Got you. Mr.
Right.
Mock?
Sandy has offered.
Just, and we talked about it before everybody was here.
Mhm.
I have chapter 5 and article 5 and article 7
Mhm.
has already went out to like the sheriff and land use and whoever else needed to review them before they get back to me, because the
Mhm.
last time I did it with them was 2 years ago.
Right.
And I got all my feedback. Article 5, I will have out to everybody this Friday.
Okay.
You will get stuff that you can disregard. But I'm also gonna sign it up for the September county board meeting, because under the new system, we gotta do that early. And you will have a clean copy that I have proofread, hopefully for typos, because I'm being very careful, because they said in the new system, we got to have it correct when we submit it. A copy of the ordinance adopting it that eventually gets to the county board, and a copy of the red line, all three of those. You'll get all three of those for all up to chapter 5
For September.
for September, but you're gonna get them by Friday.
What do we have for August?
No.
We don't have anything?
August,
We have a
this
month
was
off?
August county board. I'm talking September's county board.
Oh,
You'll have it this Friday for your August 12th meeting on your level,
okay, thank you.
but it's
Thank you.
entered for the September
September
county board.
meeting. Got you. Now I understand the
And-
process.
Then whether we're done with that or not, I'll get chapter, not chapter.
Title.
Section,
Section.
title. 7's out to you like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Okay.
But they won't be filed for the county board. You'll just get red line versions of those. But I like you to have them as early as possible, so you have as much time as you want to look at them. But you're gonna get like the finalized looking form for Article 5. And then about a week later, you're gonna get Article 7, but those are gonna be more like, just for you to look at kind of stuff.
Okay.
And there's not that many of those two areas, and those areas are not real long ones like 3 was.
Okay.
And I did turn my light on, but when I do get them, it'd be really nice to start my book all over.
Okay. So, with that being said, other new business on public comment? Public comment? Anybody want to comment? Go drag somebody in from the hall, Kelly. No? All right. Announcements by the chair. All right. I do have something I wanted to bring forward. Got back from NACO last week. One of the sessions that was really hot, a lot of people attended, and they did it 2 different areas, was the conversation of artificial intelligence. And so I came back and I asked the executive's office, and I found out we do have one policy for artificial intelligence use, and it's only in the emergency management department. That's it. They're the only ones that have addressed this topic in any way, shape, or form. It became very clear to me sitting in that room, it could have huge advantages for us, but could also put us in a real bad spot for different things too. So I don't know if that has to be an ordinance or it needs to be a conversation at a different committee. But one of the examples they gave, and I think this was Cook County, they trained their system to do invoices, process invoices. For 1 full year, they did invoices. They had a 95% perfection rate. In other words, 5% errors. And they eliminated 1,100 manual hours of work. Given budgets, constraints, and all of the things coming down the road, and we're always looking at ways to save money, seems to me this ought to at least be a discussion. For no other reason, just to have a policy to tell HR what they can and can't do with AI. So I wanted to bring that up, mostly because I don't know if it has to be an ordinance or if it's just a policy. I don't know how that process works, even after all these years of being here. And plus, this is something brand new. So I just wanted to mention it and let our chief of staff know what I was thinking. And member Newquist, you're on.
Thank you. I have a suggestion. I'm not sure if this should be a committee or a bigger discussion, but I think probably the first thing we would need to do would be identify areas where AI could be helpful. Because, I mean, I know from my own experience, I'm talking, Dan, excuse me, I have the floor.
She's responding to the chair.
I know from my own experience with AI that some of the things I found are not correct.
Mhm.
And
It's true.
a 5% error rate, how does that compare to our human error rate? So I'm not saying
No,
that AI could not be beneficial in some areas. I'm just saying, I think we first need to identify where we might make use of it. And then there needs to be,
Yeah.
you know, a definite discussion
And
about the
if this
pros
is
and
on an
cons.
agenda and a committee gets to discuss it, not only would that be on there, but the idea, and I'm sure this is true based on my hearing things from fellow county board members, that people that work here at the county are already using AI. You just don't know they're using it. And they might be doing something that maybe we wouldn't want them to do. And that's why you create a policy for your department like the Emergency Management Agency did. So that was all. Just wanted to bring it up and give, get the idea out there in a public meeting. And we don't have a need for executive session. So our next meeting is August 12th. I'll take a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are officially adjourned and it is 11:34. Wow.
Good job, Jay.
Yeah, no, just lucky. Just lucky.
Sandy.
It's a Rotary Act.
I'll get all the stuff we did today to you by hopefully Thursday. And I'm gonna send it to Chuck and to Jackie and you, because you have the ability to